Alright, gotta show everybody. 6 people, he's sleeping. Hope it don't fall. Alright. How's everybody doing?
Alright.
Good, good. Alright. Have you ever asked yourself about farming, how has it changed, and how we advance in it?
Yes, sir.
No, sir? Yes. Okay. If you look at the picture to the left here, this is farmers in the ancient times. They used hoes and their hands to plant the seeds, a bunch of back-breaking work. And you see tractors today, plow the fields, plant corn, do hay, whatever. Let's see. According to localhistories.com, farming started around 8500 BC. Farming has changed throughout history. The equipment and crop rotation has been tailored to our needs. Like I said, 8500 BC, seeds were planted by hand, so that instead of going out and collecting it from the wild and stuff like that. Then 4000 BC rolled around. The Europeans got smart and decided to use oxen and horses to do their work, as you see in that top picture. Then 18th century, a guy named Jethro Tull invented the seed drill, which would plant the seeds in a straight line instead of all over the place. These right here would hook onto an ox or a horse like that, and then you plant the seed, put the seeds in this 2 squared-looking things, and they drop down and plant it right straight in a row. And then in the 20th century, we use tractors to do the extensive farming, which means the bigger the fields. So with tractors, they save time, money. Now you know a brief history about farming. Let's move on to equipment and how it advanced through history. Farming equipment has changed dramatically over decades. According to Britannica.org, the plow was used to break up the topsoil to plant seeds. In Roman times, they used a plow with no wheels. As you can see, imagine that wheel not being there. They used this so that way the ox or the horse would hook onto this end here, and the guys would stand on here and then just dig into the ground while the horse was pulling away. But however, at the same time, Europeans used a plow like this with a wheel on it because their soil was so hard. So while the horse was pulling the plow, the guys would, push down lightly and just work it down through the soil. And then in the 18th century, they decided to add a mold board to the plow, which would be this part right here, and it would be curved. So that way, a furrow slice is what they call it after dirt is dug. It would flip it. That's cut by the plowshare, which is the front end here. And so when he's going along, the dirt would come up and flip over, so that way it didn't fall back into the hole they were digging. And then the 19th century, right here, this kind of looking thing. It's a John Deere model. It's got steel plows, 3 wheels, and it was either pulled by a horse or a tractor. The guy would sit on here, and he'd move these levers, which would drop the plows into the dirt. And then the other one was used, I can't remember. Sorry. With what we see here, you can see how equipment has changed throughout history to accomplish the task. Let's look to farming technique and see how that changed throughout history. According to eHow.com, crop rotation is the most common technique. It's used so the soil remains fertile and that the crops can grow as abundant as possible as we need. The Roman farmers used a method called the food, fallow, and feed method, which would one field would use to plant the wheat and the barley for the horses so they can grow up and become strong. The other was used for food for themselves, and then the third field was used for it was left empty so that the nutrients in the soil can replenish, so that with the following year they move the wheat or the barley to that field because the nutrients are replenished, and then just it's just a rotation. The Middle Ages used a similar method It was called the open field system. However, it was not a practical way to enrich the soil, which I couldn't find out information why it wasn't. And then today we use fertilizers, pesticides, and weed killers to enrich the soil to get rid of all the bad stuff. You now know by these examples on how farming has changed throughout history and how equipment and crop rotation has been tailored to our needs. The advancement and changes in farming has definitely changed the way we farm, and we're now able to produce more of the goods as the population grows. There you go. That's it.
All right.
Sweet.